heading down, you can see our first two wolves of the evening. This is the handsome Kenai, and his mate Makui is the beautiful light-colored female who is walking into the sunlight back there. Makui! So we'll see if she's interested in dinner in a moment. Makui is your typical looking female gray wolf. She's got that beautiful grizzled coat color. By the way, that's the big bad wolf for you, afraid of his dinner. The grizzled coat is the most common that we see among gray wolves, so that mix of gray, silver, brown, a little bit of orange tints. Kenai here is a perfect example of how not all gray wolves are gray or that grizzled color like that. They can range in color from light cream all the way to black. And we see all kinds of variations of that with our wolves, and especially with Mr. Rainbow right here. You're not interested in chicken? So a common theme tonight will be that our wolves are absolutely spoiled, which is a good thing, but that does mean that they like to spit out things that I give them because it's not good enough, even though they eat much better than most of us probably do. Okay, well, how about this? Is this good for you? Oh yeah, we're excited about that. So this is our pack of 4. We have 4 pups in here. I'm going to start with Rain because she may not look like a puppy, but she still is considered one in the wolf world. She is full grown. These guys get to be full grown at about a year old, and Rain is over a year old now. But they don't fully sexually and mentally mature until about 2, so she is still considered a puppy as she is continuing to mature. So that is Rain over here on your right. And then we have Miss Raven, who is our 8-month-old pup. And these two are black phase wolves, which means that they're born black and they phase to white and silver as they get older. So you'll see that Rain right here is already starting to get in a lot of silver in her fur. Doesn't necessarily indicate her age though, because even though she might be starting to look like an old lady, she is still quite young. So for every wolf, it's not like us humans where the amount of silver in our fur indicates our age. It's just different for every individual depending on their genetics. You've got food right here. So we've got Raven and Rain, and then Denali is on your right and Nanook is on your left, and these are our 7-month-old brothers. So we've got some more gray wolves right there, and they are growing quite fast. I believe they're going to be our biggest wolves once they are full grown. So giving our biggest wolves at the moment a run for their money. And these guys all came to us at just a couple weeks old. They were teeny tiny and they all had these beautiful bright blue eyes. Fun fact about wolves, you will actually never see an adult wolf with blue eyes. That is a domestic dog trait that we've bred into our domestic dogs over thousands and thousands of years. So if you see a wolf-like creature walking around and it's got blue eyes like that, woo! It's not a wolf, or at least it's not a pure wolf. It's got a lot of domestic dog in there. So these guys, although they were born with blue eyes, you can see if you look into their eyes now, they are a gorgeous orange or yellow color. As they start to mature between 2 to 4 months, they'll turn from that blue to an earthy color. So again, you'll never see an adult wolf with those beautiful blue eyes. Although you get to see them when they're puppies because they are born with blue eyes like most of your baby mammals. Kind of boyfriend or girlfriend kind of thing. And for these guys, they do the same thing. As they sexually mature, they start to think about choosing their own mates, and so that's when we may see them wanting to separate, and we'll decide who should pair off with who. Great question. Yeah. They're actually brothers, and then Rain and Raven are our females, and they are the black wolves, so it's pretty easy to tell them apart in that way. This is Brenda, sweet girl. She is our biggest personality here. She's a drama queen and a princess, and she loves to get all of the attention all of the time. So much so that she will shove her boyfriend out of the way to make sure the spotlight is always on her. Naturally, she has the perfect personality to be an ambassador wolf for us when she was young. So when she was a puppy, she would come out with us on that leash and harness and do meet and greets with huge groups of people. She actually went down to Colorado Springs one time where she met 150 people that she'd never met before at the Antlers Hotel. Isa is her boyfriend, and you saw him coming down to get his dinner, and he is that beautiful Arctic wolf, one of the two that we'll meet today. Arctic wolves are actually just a subspecies of the gray wolf, one of the many, and these guys are found in parts of northern Canada, Alaska, northern Europe, and even Greenland. Hello, handsome. Showing off for you guys. Like, hello. So Raksha, as an Arctic wolf, I just mentioned a little bit, is really well adapted to extremely cold temperatures. So these guys can survive and thrive in temperatures down to about -70 degrees Fahrenheit before they even start to shiver, which most of us probably can't even fathom, right? And we like to joke around that as it gets colder here in our lovely Colorado winters, as our tour guides get more miserable, these guys get happier and happier, because even our gray wolves, although they're not as well built for the cold environments, they can still survive down to about -40 before they start to get uncomfortable. So all of our wolves are very, very excited for winter, and you can see that they're starting to grow in those lovely fluffy winter coats at this time of year. But our Arctic wolves have a lot of special adaptations that allow them to do so well in those Arctic environments. Are you done with your first piece? Chakra is a lady. She has to eat on a table or she won't eat at all. See, look, she's gonna go do it. Yep, there it is. She won't eat dirty food. So these guys have fully webbed paws with extra fur for traction and insulation. They've got fur in between their toes. It acts as snowshoes for them so they can run on top of that snow and ice. As we talked about, they tend to have smaller features to help retain that body heat, and they also have fur that lacks pigment. It's actually hollow, those hairs on the outer part of their fur. It allows them to, or allows the light to shine through their fur to hit their darker skin underneath, which helps warm them up in those cold temperatures. They also have a nice coat of oil on their outer hairs as well to help keep them nice and waterproof. They can bury themselves right underneath the snow and have no issue with it at all. They absolutely love to do that. And we're like, where are the Arctic boys? And we just see a little snowy lump, right? All right, so this is Navi and Tala. Navi is this beautiful, handsome guy who's showing off for you right there. Naturally, we call him Mr. Hollywood. Not only because he's tall, dark, and handsome, but also because he is actually famous by association. His uncle was used as a model for the CGI werewolf Sam in the Twilight series. So if you've seen that or want to admit that you have seen Navi's uncle. Whoa, you let that hit you, bud. We showed Navi those movies and he thought that was him, so he does think he's a movie star, and you guys came here just to see him today. Oh yeah, strut your stuff. Downward wolf. And he's another one who likes to shove his girlfriend out of the way so that he can get all of the attention. Tala here is our tiny but mighty, and we call her that because she's our smallest wolf at about 60 pounds. But she's also one of our strongest, so we like to take these guys on walks. They love to come out of their enclosure and explore the property. We will do pen rotations as a form of enrichment, so we'll bring them out to other enclosures for the day so they can have new things to smell, new things to pee on, new holes to dig. It's very exciting for the life of a wolf. They do look eerily similar to coyotes in some ways, which does not help their survival out in the wild because we kill about 450,000 coyotes every single year. So a lot of times people will mistake them for coyotes, or they know exactly what they're doing. The same thing happens with red wolves, and they can just say, whoops, thought it was a coyote, and get off with a simple slap on the wrist. All right, so these are our Mexican wolves here. Dakota and Diego. And again, these guys are part of that SAFE program, saving animals from extinction, and it's really important that we have them here. They live a very different life from the rest of our animals. We try to keep them as wild as we possibly can, so that if they were to be paired up with females at another facility and have puppies, they would teach those puppies to be wild wolves, and we could release those pups and they would grow up in the wild. And I'll tell you how we do that in just a second. But these guys we do not socialize with. We don't go in and give them snuggles and kisses like we do with these guys here. So they tend to have more of that natural fear of humans that wolves have. And that's also why they have that different kind of Jurassic Park looking enclosure here. It's not because they're any more aggressive than our other animals or anything like that. It's simply because they're owned by U.S. Fish and Wildlife as part of that SAFE program. So that's how they require that we house the critically endangered species here. Now, I mentioned that we can release puppies to the wild, which sounds a little bit crazy, but the way that we do this is actually really beautiful. It's through something called puppy fostering, and this is where we will actually pull pups that were just born in captivity, sometimes just a couple days old, and we will take them out and place them into a wild mom and dad's litter, where they will adopt those puppies and raise them as wild wolves. And it's incredible that we see this happen because wolves are one of the only apex predators we know of that will adopt and raise pups that are not their own. You would never see a big cat doing that, right? I have to feed these guys chicken nuggets. They won't eat it any other way. So it's a really great way that we're able to get new individuals as well as new genetics, which remember is really important for our Mexican wolves here, out into the wild. And that's why these guys were to be paired with females and have puppies. They could be a part of that puppy fostering process. Love Nutria. So glad you get to see them. And we are just so happy to have them here. I mean, these guys, these two in particular, were part of that breeding program for the Saving Animals from Extinction program, which is incredible that they've been able to be a part of that. They have retired from the breeding program, so this is where they are living out the rest of their lives, and we want to give them the best lives possible. In moving from that first wildlife facility that they were at, they made room for a new breeding pair to move in and have some puppies that can then be fostered into wild dens. So we are so happy to have these two here that have been an incredible part of that program, and hopefully you're able to get a glimpse of what beautiful animals these are and why they're so worth saving.
You did it!
That's pretty incredible. You're gonna see that real quick right now.